Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Cannon. A lot of things going on, December 22nd. Is everyone just about ready for Christmas? I hope. What do you need to get ready? People still shopping? Most of the shopping, I think, is online right now, right? But you know what the big thing is right now is this whole Omicron variant, to COVID. And it seems like some people are panicking. Traveling is being cut back. People are not going to see their loved ones over the holiday. And a good friend of ours, of the show, and of a lot of you guys too, in Police Off the Cuff land, and Coffee with Cannon land, is Duty Ron. And Duty Ron, he messaged all his fans or subscribers that his wife has it and his son, and he just tested positive to it. So all our prayers go out to Duty Ron, and let's hope that it's a mild version. I believe that Duty Ron is vaccinated, and so is his wife. And I just hope they have a very, very mild thing. But it's sort of, it screws up your plans for the holiday. Besides having this little virus, it really, everyone, of course, wants to get together, looks forward to Christmas, looks forward to uh, folks in the chat. Thank you, Linda Cosma. Merry Christmas to you. Ron Girl 1971. Good morning. Lisa Rena. Hello. Wanda Arrington. The lady is a tramp. Hello. Thomas W. Cusinelli. Merry Christmas to you too, Thomas. I'm just going to play a little thing from CBS News in regards to how the Omicron thing is being seen in New York and other states, and the little bit of it seems like a little bit of a panic. But I don't think people need really to panic right now. But let's listen.
You can see people lining up for testing in Florida in scenes that are a reminder of the worst days of the pandemic. The new strain has been found in at least 38 states.
And this is what it looks like in New York, too, where people are lining up, as you see there, Nate, where the daily positivity rate has doubled in 3 days. People are a little worried here. The CDC is pushing again for people, please get vaccinated, but it's no longer recommending the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine because of a link to rare blood clots. Meg Oliver reports on the concern that stretches all the way to the White House.
For unvaccinated, we are looking at a winter of severe illness and death.
Though reported Omicron cases have so far been mild, experts warn every precaution should be taken to prevent infection.
If you have a lot of hospital workers, nurses and doctors and ICU staff calling in sick at home because they have symptomatic COVID, that's going to really tax an already strained health system.
Across the country, many hospitals are already at a breaking point due to winter surges from the Delta variant. In Wisconsin, just over 4% of ICU beds are available. And in Nebraska, frontline workers are overwhelmed.
I would just hope that no one else has to experience the things that we've been experiencing.
Meanwhile, signs that Omicron is quickly spreading from coast to coast. New York City is now reporting 8,300 new cases a day, leading to long lines at testing centers and pushing some companies like Citibank to tell employees to work from home.
The Omicron variant is here in New York City in full force.
In Orlando, Florida, Omicron was found in nearly 100% of the wastewater samples taken this week, just 1 week after it was not detected at all. Dr. Anthony Fauci says there is good news. At this point, there is no need for a variant-specific booster.
Our booster vaccine regimens work against Omicron.
This as new data tracking the safety of the vaccines showed that 9 deaths due to rare blood clotting have now been linked to the Johnson & Johnson shot, and not just in younger women as originally thought. That information led the CDC to recommend the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines over J&J on Thursday.
In response to the CDC's decision, reps for Johnson & Johnson say the company remains confident in the safety and durability of its vaccine, and it will collaborate with the CDC and global health officials to educate the public on the risks associated with it. Tony?
I don't think it's time to people to panic. It's really, we've been in this situation for almost, I think, going on 2 years now. And they spoke about something early on, something called herd immunity. And it's almost like I think we all have to get this thing. We we've all taken. I mean, most of us have taken precautions getting the shot. I got the Pfizer, and then I just recently got the booster. So, I mean, that's all I can do. I can't stop my life. When I see the president in an office by himself wearing a mask, it just baffles me. Like, come on, it's it's become so political, and there's no doubt. I mean, look at I read something very recently on the NBA. They have like 97% are vaccinated, and they're getting it anyway. So, like, what can you do? You cannot um, stop your life. You can't stop living your life. You have to go about living your life, and that's that thing that they spoke about earlier and early on in the first year, the thing called herd immunity. And the problem also is that so many experts contradict themselves. They just this guy Fauci. I mean, he's changed up more times than you can shake a stick at. So I think that it's smart to get to take precautions. Of course, get vaccinated, and something. There's the whole other side of that coin. There's people that don't want to do it. No one can force you to do it, but they're trying their best to force you by you can't get into some places, you can't get into restaurants in New York City. My gym, if you can't, locally, my gym, if you're not vaccinated, you're not allowed in. Um, so all of those things. So it's like they've sort of subtly and not so subtly encouraged you to get vaccinated. But that's all we can do. And don't forget also, this is the time of the year of other sicknesses, the flu, the regular flu, coughs. I Lorna McKenzie, yeah. I'm not, anyone that has health problems and beyond COVID and beyond Delta and beyond Omicron and all this stuff, you got to do what's right for you. I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you, look, this has changed my life and everyone's life over the course of these 2 years. And the fact that our freedoms have been restricted. And smartly, you stayed away from large gatherings. One of my best friend's son was married last year, and I didn't go to the wedding. I just sent a gift, and I didn't feel confident about being around a lot of people. This was pre-vaccination, so yeah, it's definitely has changed everyone's life. It's definitely hit the curb things that you've done. Vesper Q, very sensible. Eventually, everyone will get it, and then you have herd immunity. As for Fauci, one word: insane. Well, right. Maui Swifts, good to see you. The vaccines have proven not to stop the spread, just minimize the illness. Well, Maui Swift, something. I'll take that too, because I think that every single person is going to get this virus, and that's how it's going to end. It's going to end because everyone's going to get it. So what can you say? And I just hope everyone still is able to have a nice holiday. Everyone's able to be around their friends, their family, their loved ones, because it really cuts into the joy of these situations when you can't be around people. Speaking of joy, today at 5 p.m., the moment we've all been waiting for, Andy Lagabe Kabe from London coming on Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. And I'm looking forward to this show. I was just watching Andy today. I mean, he's great. I mean, he does these short little blasts. Sometimes he does 5, 6, 3-minute shows, and he's got a pretty big audience, just under 20,000. He's doing great, And I guess it shows you a lot with YouTube. Besides, it's a lot of personality. It's whether people like you or not, and that's besides covering the different stories that we've covered over the years. Obviously the biggest stories over the year that put myself and a lot of people on the map was, of course, Summer Wells, the missing 5-year-old girl, of course, who is still missing. And many believe that she was, kidnapped, humanly trafficked. And I'm starting to believe that. However, I still believe that Candace knows what happened to her. I still believe that. With all my heart, I still believe that. And hopefully one day we'll find out and maybe find that little girl, Summer Wells, and hopefully alive. And one day we'll find out exactly what happened. But I don't trust Candace or Don Wells, and I really think that I believe Candace knows exactly what happened to Don. I would think that he knows everything Candace knows. So are they cleared? No, no way. Maui Swift, yes, charisma is key and content. Yes. Uh, although, something, I see a lot of channels on YouTube, especially real crime channels. There's a lot of people on it that don't know what they're talking about, but yet they have big channels and a lot of subscribers. So that's the argument too, Maui Swift, is that is charisma more important than knowledge? Because there's, as I said, there's many people doing real crime that do not have a clue what they're talking about, and that's the way it is. Uh, what do I? They only show you what they want you to see. Bill, what do you honestly think about McDonough and Mike? I'm not going to comment on Chris McDonough. I have commented on him in the past, and he's got a lot of subscribers, and his fans love him. Let them keep going to him. I'm not on YouTube to criticize other content creators. When they do something that I find egregious, I will comment on it, and I have commented on it. But I'm not giving him any shine to comment on his podcast. He does what he does, and I've commented on in the past, and so has other folks, and look, when someone doesn't like what I do, they're in my chat, and I don't if they get disrespectful, I'll remove them. But look, you cannot be internationally loved. That's for sure. Everyone's not gonna love you. Wanda Arrington, Lord, I hope so. I follow everything Summer Wells. I live a few hours away. Something is definitely fishy in her case. Yeah, well, we've gone over that case ad nauseum. They've been on Dr. Phil. So what, Dr. Phil, let me ask you a question. If I walked with you through those woods, would you tell me the route that, because I'm going to be all over this, which is total nonsense. Dr. Phil had them on the show. As soon as he got the big ratings, you never heard from him again. He's interviewing them, as if he really cares. I find that guy just laughable, Vespa Q, hello, everyone. Found you via Duty Ron. I look forward to the cabbie. I'm from Essex, UK, Great Britain, just outside of London. Christmas blessings to all. Absolutely. I just hope that everyone can still have a great Christmas, a great holiday, even with all that's going on. Don't even forget also last year at this time, the Cuomo brothers were that was Andrew Cuomo, who was our governor in New York. He was being heralded as this unbelievable hero, that this amazing governor, and he was being mentioned for president, and him and his brother were just, oh my God, the cat's meow. And how things can change very quickly, And I'm going to play a little bit of the news about Andrew Cuomo. And even the news and the media were just swooning over this guy. And it was actually sickening. CNN, well, we all know the follow-up on CNN. Let me play a little bit of some criticism young Andrew got here, and put it on the screen, and we can hear this little news report on Andrew.
Did well. Now we know to secure a $5 million book deal. And remember, when Cuomo was negotiating this book deal in the middle of a pandemic, mind you, he had approval ratings around 70%, easily the highest of his career. So yeah, it was the right time to write a book and a wrong time to have bad news about the nursing home scandal come out, because then obviously your leverage is gone as far as getting that book deal. And it truly is justice now that the LovGov needs to hand back that money. This is a guy who thought it was a great idea to put COVID positive patients back in the nursing homes, and then he covered it up. He was awarded millions and an Emmy for doing by far the worst job of any governor in the country on COVID. Now he's out of a job, as is his PR chief in the form of his brother, now formerly of CNN. And Chris, how the not so mighty have fallen, guys.
Yeah, Joe, I think that is the key point that you made. It's not just the accusations of having your staff write the book, which is enough to force you to pay back the money, but it's the fact that he needed that positive pub in order to promote promote and sell the book. That's a key point that you make. Here's the Cuomo spokesperson, that's not his brother, responding, quote, "This is political hypocrisy and duplicity at its worst. Government resources could not be used, and they weren't. And any staffer who assisted in this project did so on their own time." Isn't that just patently false, Joe? I mean, literally patently false.
Yeah, when I'm not working for, a governor, or I'm not working for The Hill or Fox News, in my own time, I help people write books for free. That's the thing that, is what you do in your off time in New York, where you have other things to do. It's so ridiculous. But how do you treat anything that anyone says associated with this governor seriously, or take it to credibility in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah. So, Joe, the San Francisco Chronicle has a piece out that's getting some attention. It's titled "Kamala Harris Has Redecorated the VP's Office." Here's the meaning behind her choices. And then you have the House Judiciary GOP Twitter account heading back saying, "Crazy how she doesn't have time to visit the border. She's going to get all that." But what do you think about her getting this string of positive coverage from some news sources now, news outlets?
Well, I really didn't want to follow the Kamala Harris office decorating story, but you could see the whole Cuomo story was just so pathetic. And writing a book and getting a $5.1 million advance for the book while you're the governor, and then hiding 15,000 nursing home deaths, because if they find out about that, there goes the book. I mean, if that's the definition of corruption, and how this guy got away with it, and then his brother Fredo on CNN gushing, and CNN gushing, and having the Cuomo brothers on, it was nauseous to watch. It was. I want to see if I can pull up a little bit of it so that I could show you, but we were forced to watch that. Well, I don't watch CNN, but I'm going to play a little bit of some of the gushing that was done last year with the Cuomo brothers. And this was all when he was riding this unbelievable wave of popularity. And this is CNN. Of course, they know nothing about anything, CNN. Very ridiculous. Here we go. Let me play a little bit of this.
We understand the plans that you have and other places have, testing, tracing. You don't have the money to do what you need to do to get done what triggers the different phases of your plan. You've gotten it taken to you coming and going from the federal government. Just to be fair for the audience, what you need to do with testing, do you have the money to do it right now?
Yeah. First, on your comment about friends and family,
It was an aside.
Delilah called me before the show and said go easy on you because
My wife,
you're still
who?
not at full strength. So I've been going easy on you. Delilah
Who is that?
from the Bible.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
you. Go ahead.
Check. We will. Here's the first question. You're right. States need funding. States need funding, A, for testing, tracing. B, states need money because we have a deficit
Right.
after the coronavirus.
And you
because
have
the
not been given that
coronavirus
money.
Stopped everything.
So you don't have enough.
Right.
All right.
Right. If
So you
they
can't do
don't
it.
pass a piece of legislation, Chris,
Mm.
well, hold it a second.
Mm.
They were supposed to do it this week. They are going to come back next week. If they don't pass a piece of legislation, game over. Game over.
But how do they pass
Because
a
if you
piece of
don't pass
legislation?
legislation,
President tweeted today, no legislation unless there's stuff for hotels in it and immigration. Come on. Those are poison pills.
well,
You're not going to get anything out
look,
of Nancy Pelosi
if
with
they-
those
yeah.
things in it.
well, and that's exactly right. And look, I believe the Democrats feel burned from the bill they passed 2 weeks ago, the bill that had the money for the small businesses, but didn't do police, didn't do fire, didn't do school teachers, didn't do state and local government, right? And everybody said, don't worry, we'll work it out. And now it looks like the political divide is getting even bigger. If they don't pass legislation, they don't provide funding, states will suffer, every state, Democratic state, Republican states. They won't do the testing. They won't have the money for the tracing. They won't be able to bring back their economy. It'll be classic Washington divisive politics.
But that is
And
what's
the
happening.
president is supposed to be, the president is supposed to be a leader. You want to be a leader in a crisis, then lead and be the bridge above the politics. Build the bridge from the Republicans to the Democrats. Don't get into this partisan fight. It will come back to the president.
Unbelievable when you know what happened to listen to this guy now of what what a brilliant statesman he is as he's putting 15,000 people back in nursing homes with COVID so he can make $5 million on a book. What a brilliant statesman as his brother just gushes and everyone gushes over this guy. Just incredible that what these people, they have no shame, these politicians. Zero shame, you know. And well, look what happened now. Now he's being told to pay back that $5 million, which is poetic justice. He should have to pay back that $5 million. But my prediction is let a year go by and Andrew Cuomo has $18 million in his political war chest. He'll be running for another office and people will forget all about uh, the sexual abuse allegations. They'll forget all about his 15,000 people died in nursing homes. They'll forget all about his 5 million advance for a book, and he'll be back in politics because that's how dirty politics is, and it's really pathetic. But that's what's going to happen. Uh, I don't understand the whole campaign finance thing where they can just keep this money as long as they use it for for political purposes. Santa Elise Hoth Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat, $19 super chat. I really appreciate that. Merry Christmas to everyone. It's so great to see you. This is Coffee with Cannon. Got my police off the cuff cup. It's hard to put it up there. There you go. Police off the cuff cup. And guys, if you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff, please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, and also join our YouTube family to support us. The people in the green font, that's I can tell if you're in our YouTube family. And also, we have a Patreon. If you could help support us, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels. And the year's almost over. It's December 22nd, and I would love to go back over some of the great things that we did this past year. And I learned so much about YouTube and about doing this podcast and about covering these stories. And I got a lot more to learn, but I think I have a lot to offer in doing these stories. I found a good chemistry with Phil Grimaldi co-hosting with me, and Mark DeMeo is doing Police Off the Cuff After Hours on the same channel, usually on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Mark's really busy right now. He's a stand-up comic, so he's going out and he's doing a lot of shows, and that's where his heart is really in stand-up comedy. I did stand-up comedy for like 6.5, 7 years, and the COVID hit, and I got really involved in this podcast, as you guys know, and I opted out of doing stand-up comedy. Maybe one day again I'll go back on the stage. I'll have to start writing again. Nana 617, thank you. Agree 100%. Keep going. Crystal Champion, good to see you. Kelly Delmonico, you just get better and better. Thank you so much for the compliment. C.R. Patrick, always great to see you. You become a huge supporter of Police Off the Cuff and Coffee with Cannon. Thank you guys so much. We got some amazing things planned for 2022. And I just wanted to mention, Duty Ron just texted me, and I want everyone to say their prayers for Duty Ron and for his family. Apparently, he's getting hit hard with this Omicron variant, and I just, Duty Ron is always there for everyone else. And I want you guys, you believe in the power of prayer. Say some prayers for Duty Ron and his family. Shelly Jake, Sagittarius have great sense of humor. I guess so. Crystal Champion, how are you? Good to see everyone. So as I said, Duty Ron, if you haven't heard, if he's mentioned it, he's spoken to everyone. He tested positive for the Omicron variant, and please say prayers for Duty Ron. We want to wish him and his family a quick recovery from this. What a nasty thing to get during the holidays, Yeah, well, the prayer emojis in the chat, I'd appreciate that. It's definitely, look, you don't wish it on anyone, but this whole thing is that we're all probably going to get it at some point, and I think that's when we can achieve what's known as, used to talk about it early on in this thing, herd immunity. That's how I think it's going to go away, and that's unfortunately, well, as I said, we're all going to have to get it. And I pray that if you do get it, it's not as severe as early on. I really pray that that's the case. It's just a horrible thing, and it's just been going on for too long. Way too long. Uh, the other thing is we were talking about a lot was the whole Alec Baldwin thing, and I'm sure that case is going to be with us for a while. And let me just play a little bit of. Uh, I'll share a little bit of this news. There's no new news on it, but it's still in the news, and
target of a new search warrant. Authorities want access to the actor's photos, social media accounts, private messages, and even deleted files. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office saying in an affidavit that it believes there may be evidence on the phone relating to the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. In a new statement overnight to NBC News, Baldwin's legal team saying they proactively requested the warrant to protect some of the actor's family and personal information, writing in part, "We are confident that the evidence will show that Mr. Baldwin is not responsible civilly or criminally for what occurred on October 21st, and he continues to cooperate with authorities," adding that they hope the authorities continue to focus on how the live rounds got on the set in the first place. Detectives are giving few hints about what they're looking for, but according to the search warrant, investigators learned of several emails and text messages about the Rust movie production during interviews with Baldwin and others. Among them, a conversation with the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, before the shooting, in which the actor apparently requested a bigger gun.
Maybe that the evidence sought on Alec Baldwin's phone is not really about the moment of the crime, but instead Alec Baldwin's decisions as a producer and how those might have affected safety on the set.
Helena Hutchins was killed, and director Joel Sousa was wounded when the prop gun Baldwin was holding suddenly fired during rehearsal. In an interview this month, Baldwin told ABC News he never pulled the trigger and denied responsibility.
I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
Hours before the deadly shooting, members of the film's camera crew had walked off set, citing poor working conditions and safety concerns.
Now, I did not observe any safety or security issues at all in the time I was there.
As to the investigators' claim that Baldwin asked for a bigger gun before the shooting, the actor responding on Twitter that is, quote, a lie. The affidavit also details extensive conversations with the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. It's unclear if the search warrant will also be obtained for her phone. Her legal team had no comment. So far, no criminal charges have been filed in the case.
So as you can see, nothing new, but we knew all of that. But it's amazing, the more you watch it, and he just protests about how he has no culpability, he has no responsibility. Not only was he the actor that shot Helena Hutchins, but he's a producer on the film, and he takes zero responsibility. And to me, that's sort of pathetic. It's pathetic that he refuses to take, but it just shows the type of man he is. He's not a likable guy. And unfortunately, he's the one that chose to put himself out there on national TV with George Snuffleupagus, which was a love fest interview, which was pathetic. And I know his name is George Stephanopoulos, but he deserves to be called Snuffleupagus with that horrendous interview he did. The next day he was on Good Morning America, and they were like, "How was that interview?" "Oh my God, it was one of the most intense interviews I've ever done." I was, "Oh, really?" That was the most pathetic interview I've ever done. A freshman broadcast journalism student, I think, could have done a much better job interviewing Alec Baldwin because you didn't challenge him whatsoever. And everyone in watching it was noting that, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And it also, you could see that the interview was heavily edited when you see cuts in the conversation. Victoria Holdsworth, yes, I call him Snuffleupagus. That was the character from Sesame Street, George Snuffleupagus there. Kelly Delmonico, narcissistic nepotism. Snuff is a suck up. You know that 100%. Uh, Crystal Champion, disgusting power structure, so obvious. Yes, it was. It was pathetic to watch, but I'm looking at that case though in 2022. Undoubtedly, we're going to find out probably in January or February whether or not there's going to be criminal charges in that case. And my prediction is that we will. I Early on in the investigation, I had my doubts, but I think that they're going to the district attorney, the Santa Fe district attorney, is going to see that there was almost rising to the level of gross negligence, which can rise to a charge of criminally negligent homicide, or possibly in Santa Fe law, manslaughter by recklessness, because there was some recklessness there. And even the news, we would just watch that report on the news when they said how somehow the gun that Alec Baldwin was holding somehow went off. No, he pulled the damn trigger. Guns just don't go off. And the news, it's pathetic that they report that. Yeah, the gun he was holding went off because he pulled the trigger. So stop. The news gives you an assist to these people. I can imagine if the gun a cop was holding went off, not a single news station would say that he didn't pull the trigger. But because it's Alec Baldwin, oh, somehow the gun he was holding went off. Oh my God, how did that happen? Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff in when they get the search warrant on his cell phone. There's going to be a lot of information in there that will contradict what he said publicly, it will contradict what he said to investigators, and it will contradict what he said on George Snuffleupagus' interview on ABC, which was a self-serving joke of an interview. So when that comes out, that'll also determine, I believe, in a large way, whether the district attorney chooses to file charges. And let's not forget that charges may also be filed against David Halls and also Ms. Gutierrez Reed. So there's potentially 3 people that could have criminal charges filed against them. And so it's not just Alec Baldwin. It's potentially 3 people, and potentially the movie's producers and directors themselves are having a set that there was so many problems on. And I covered earlier last week, the week before, about how 24 members of the Rust crew signed a letter saying, "Oh no, the set was totally good, totally perfect, no negligence, no this, no that." It was so pathetic that it was obviously someone steered them to write that letter, and it just was crazy. And then look, you keep watching this case, keep listening to the reports we do, keep listening to the reports coming out of the news, the mainstream media. Patrick, I don't know if it's a payoff. I think it probably is in their best interest to support, the film industry and say, although there was no negligence. Look, this movie company, the Rust movie production is finished. That movie's never going to get made. And civilly, they're dead too. I mean, civilly, Alec Baldwin is finished. I mean, he's from what I understand, he's worth like $50 or $60 million, and he's going to part with a lot of it because not only the family of Helena Hutchins, but on Joel Souza, the director, who caught the bullet in the shoulder after it went through Helena Hutchins. Well, friendship goes so far. When you're hitting the shoulder with a 45 caliber round, you want to get paid. You want to make sure that your injuries are covered for the rest of your life. And his friendship with Alec Baldwin is out the window now. Now what he's looking at is a civil lawsuit, and that's what's going to happen. So Alec Baldwin could part with a great deal of money. His negligence is the worst of everyone on that set, even though he said, "Oh, someone's responsible for this, but it's not me." What a stand-up guy. Huh? What a stand-up guy. This is the guy who's very judgmental on everyone else in society, but when something happens to him, all of a sudden he's like, someone's responsible, but it's not me. Relic Revo. I was hoping Bill and the true investigators would do their research soon. The more truth is on side, the sooner this tyranny will end. Relic Revo, I agree with you. However, if you know anything about an investigation, investigators rush for no one. So when they're finished, they're finished. When they have completed their investigation, when they're satisfied that they have the truth, that's when the investigation will be completed. Pauline Buckles, Baldwin may not get any more acting gigs. He could go back to soap operas, I guess. I'm not really worried about Alec Baldwin, to tell you the truth. C.R. Patrick, in U.S. Magazine, they took a picture of Alec Baldwin getting a Christmas tree. It made me physically ill. Look, he's going to go about his life. He's not going to end his life for anyone. And, he's got 6 kids. He's he's got a family, and he's a selfish guy, and he's all about himself. So look, let's just follow this case. Folks, I just want to, I'm going on this evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is 10 p.m. in England. And that's where Andy the Gabby Cabby, I'm working on my British accent. Andy the Gabby Cabby will be coming on Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I just find Andy to be a totally interesting character, and I'm looking forward to interviewing him. I don't know if tonight Phil is going to join me or not. Phil had a death in his family, and he may not be able to join me as a co-host. So I'm going to interview the Gabby Cabby myself, work on my English accent, talk about driving a taxi in London. It's got to be Maui Swift. Good to see you. I hope to see you at 5 if you're available. Everyone has a life and has to work. Not everyone can be glued to YouTube all the time. Crystal Champion, Nikki Bella. Hello, guys. Oh my God, Crystal Champion. Yes, condolences to Phil Grimaldi, my partner here. KH Walker. Yes, I'll let Phil know you guys are wishing him condolences. Maui Swift, 8 Pacific. So yes. Okay, great. 8 Pacific. That's right. British Columbia, right? I told you I went there up there years, and my good friend Jim Burns, the blues guitarist, is up there. Look, a lot of things going on, guys. So again, I'll see you this evening, most of you guys. Till then, stay safe. God bless, and Merry Christmas. And I'll see you this evening and at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, this is Coffee with Cannon signing off. Have a great day.